If you drive a car, it needs fluids, and you may not know exactly where those fluids are, or how to check them. And if no one has ever shown you those things, we're gonna go through all the basics on this one. We're gonna start with checking fluids with the vehicle off. And we're gonna start with, I think, the fluid you're probably thinking of first, oil. And you don't need any special equipment, but you do need a good clean rag. You're going to find your dipstick, which is going to be a crazy color on the handle, probably orange or yellow. And you're going to remove that, but don't even look at what's on it. You're gonna clean it first and then reinsert it and pull it again. Now, holding it vertically, you're gonna look at the tip and see where exactly that oil level falls. You'll see a minimum and a maximum marking. Just make sure that you have some in there. Now, you can put it back into the vehicle, move on to your next fluid check. Next fluid you want to check is your coolant. Probably the largest reservoir that you see. It could be in a few different spots, could be a few different colors, but one thing is for sure, you don't want to be around this when it's hot. If your vehicle is too warm to be checking it, just let it cool off. But sometimes these things can be under pressure, so poking around at one of these tanks while it's full of pressurized coolant may not be what you're looking for. Instead, what you are looking for is going to be that fluid level. There's going to be a min and max line on that reservoir. It might be hard to see, so a real handy trick is just to get a light on it to illuminate it from the backside. You can also give the thing kind of a jiggle and you'll see that level moving around. What you want to see is that level in a safe spot between the minimum and the maximum. If you run it too low, you definitely need to get that topped up. Next one we're going to check out is brake fluid, a little container like this, somewhere on the driver's side of the vehicle. Now, brake fluid is a little different from some of the other fluids we're looking at here because you will expect that level inside the reservoir to go down over time. That's normal. As the brake pads wear, that fluid is just going somewhere else. You don't have a problem quite yet. If it does drop off much faster than you expect, you could have a leak somewhere, and that's a big safety issue. It can be a little hard to look in there sometimes, but the light and a little jiggle should be all you need to check that level. You never want it to go below the minimum, and if it does, that's something you need to get checked out right away. Next fluid we're going to take a look at under the hood here is going to be washer fluid for your windshield wipers. Now, you might not think of this as being something that's all that important to the vehicle, but it has to do with your ability to see safely out the windshield, and I would say that is pretty important. These can be a little hard to read sometimes. Safest thing to do is just pop that cap, fill it up until it's full, slam it shut, you're good to go. Now, one other fluid that you may have the ability to check under the hood here would be the power steering fluid. But again, a lot of newer vehicles are not going to have that. It's not something to worry about. You can't even find it if you're looking for it. If you do have a vehicle that's got a power steering fluid reservoir, just make sure that it's between the min and the max, like some of the other fluids we've talked about here today. That wraps up a complete fluid check. So now you know what's in your vehicle.